Alright, today we are covering section 1.5, which is solving equations with rational numbers. But we are going to get into just a little bit of algebra. So starting off, we're going to look at solving one-step equations. So this is number 1 and number 2. So we have y minus 17.5 equals 11. So what we need to do here is get y by itself. So we have to work with what's called the inverse operation, which is the opposite. Excuse me. So if we have minus 17.5, we need to do the opposite of that, which is add 17.5. And what you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So we need to also add 17.5 to 11. So on the left-hand side, negative 17.5 plus 17.5 cancels each other out, and I would drop down y. And then on the right-hand side, I need to add 11 plus 17.5, which equals 28.5. So my answer would be y equals 28.5. Number 2, I have n plus 4.6 equals 9. So same thing, my inverse operation of positive 4.6 is negative 4.6. So I subtract 4.6 from both sides. So I have n equals, then I have to take 9 minus 4.6, which is 4.4. So my answer is n equals 4.4. Okay, number 3 and number 4. So these are still one-step equations. We're doing something different here. We are dividing. So I have negative 4.2p equals 12.6. So that negative 4.2 is right beside p, and whenever it's like that, it means multiply. So the inverse of multiply is divide. So I need to divide both sides by negative 4.2. And these are simple operations that you can use your calculator for. So I have 12.6 divided by negative 4.2, so my answer is going to be a negative. And then if I go through and divide that, I will get 3. So p equals negative 3. So number 4, same process. I have 8.2p equals negative 32.8. So the 8.2 and p are right next to each other. That means multiply. So I have to do the inverse of that, which is divide. So I need to divide both sides by 8.2. So p equals, then I have negative 32.8 divided by 8.2 will be negative 4. So p equals negative 4. Okay, next you have number 5 and 6. So number 5 is t over 7.5 equals 4. So this is t divided by 7.5 equals 4. So I need to do the inverse operation, which is multiply. So I need to multiply both sides by 7.5. So that would cancel on the left. And I would get t equals 4 times 7.5, and then I need to actually go through and multiply that. So 4 times 7.5 is 30. So t equals 30. Okay, number 6, I have x over 1.2 equals 15. So this is division. So my inverse operation would be multiplication. So I need to multiply both sides by 1.2. This would cancel on the left. So I would have x equals 15 times 1.2. Then I need to go through and multiply that. So 15 times 1.2 is 18. So x equals 18. Okay, number 7 and 8. Now we're going to start working with some fractions again. So I have x plus 1/9 equals negative 4/9. So I need to do the inverse operation to get x by itself. I need to subtract 1/9 from both sides. So on the left-hand side, that would cancel, and I would have x equals, and on the right-hand side, I would have negative 4/9 minus 1/9. So I need to go through and actually calculate that. 9 would be my common denominator. So I have to take negative 4 minus 1, which is negative 5 over 9. And that cannot be simplified, so that would be my answer. X equals negative 5 over 9. Okay, number 8. N plus 2/7 equals negative 3/7. So I need to subtract 2/7 from both sides. So N equals negative 3/7 minus 2/7. So I need to actually go through and subtract this. My common denominator is 7. Negative 3 minus 2 would be, if we get further negatives, you would have negative 5. And negative 5/7 cannot be simplified. So that would be your answer. N equals negative 5/7. Okay, number 9 and 10. So 9 and 10 are going to involve the same process as 7 and 8, but you're going to have to get a common denominator. So I think you can handle it. I want you to try to work through these on your own. You might have to pause the video and have some more time. All right, let's go over number 9. So the first thing I need to do is the inverse operation and add 1/8 to both sides. So then I would get x equals 9/16 plus 1/8. So my common denominator would be 16. So I need to take 1/8 times 2. So now I have x equals 9/16 plus 2/16. So 16 is my common denominator, and 9 plus 2 is 11. So x equals 11/16. Number 10, I need to do the inverse operation. So add 1/6 to both sides. So y equals 2/3 plus 1/6. So my common denominator would be 6, so I need to take 2/3 times 2. So y equals 4/6 plus 1/6. So y would equal 4 plus 1 is 5, 5/6 would be my final answer. Okay, number 11 and 12. So this looks a little different because I have fractions here. So I have 3/5 W equals 3/16. Okay, so I need to do the inverse operation. So 3/5 times W, I need to actually divide both sides by 3/5. But remember, when you divide fractions, you're actually flipping and multiplying. So I'm going to take both sides times 5/3, because that would be flipping and multiplying. So 5 times 3 is 15, over 3 times 5 is 15. So this essentially cancels that, and I'm left with W. And then I need to multiply on the right. So 3 times 5 is 15 over, and then I have 16 times 3, which is 48. And then I need to do some simplifying. So 15 and 48 both have 3 in common. So I need to divide by 3. So Okay, number 12 is the same process. 5 6x equals 5 eighths. So I need to flip and multiply that. So I need to take both fractions, both sides, times 6 fifths. So on the left-hand side, that cancels out, and I'm left with x. And on the right-hand side, I have 5 times 6, which is 30, over 8 times 5, which is 40. And then I need to do some simplifying. So they both would have a 10 in common, so I need to divide the numerator and denominator by 10. And my answer would be x equals 3/4. Okay, number 13 is a word problem, so I'll let you read through that. Okay, so Jake has agreed to paint 3 houses. He knows that he can paint 2/5 of a house in 1 day. How many days will it take him to paint all 3 houses? So our total would be 3, and he paints 2/5 of a house in 1 day. So our number of houses is 3, and he paints 2/5 of a house per day. So we would write the equation 2/5 x equals 3, and then we need to solve that. So we have to flip and multiply. So I'm going to take both sides times 5 halves. So on the left I have x equals, and on the right I would have 3/1 times 5/2. So 3 times 5 is 15/2. And then I need to convert this into a mixed fraction. So 2 goes into 15 7 whole times with a remainder of 2. And then we need to label it because it's a word problem. So we're talking about days. So it would take him 7.5 days to paint all 3 houses. Okay, number 14. So go ahead and read through that. Mr. Green wants to prepare a dessert that only has 2 2/3 tablespoons of sugar. If each serving of the dessert has 2/3 tablespoons of sugar, how many servings can he make for the party? So we need to divide. He has 2 2/3 total sugar, and each serving takes 2/3 of a tablespoon. So we need to divide that. The first thing we would need to do is convert 2 2/3 into an improper fraction. So 2 times 3 is 6, plus 2 is 8. So 8/3 divided by 2/3. Okay, then in order to divide fractions, we flip and multiply. So 8/3 times 3/2. So let's go through and multiply. 8 times 3 is 24. Over 3 times 2 is 6. Now we have an improper fraction that we need to convert. 6 goes into 24 4 whole times with no remainder. And then we need to label it. So we're talking about servings here. So it looks like you can make 4 servings of this dessert. Okay, here is your homework assignment. Please have this completed and show your work by tomorrow.